ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so we were looking at Skanda Purana last time. We will continue. So Skanda Purana, if you remember, the last story that we saw was the story of Sita, who was born previously as Vedavati, how Ravana had tried to abduct Vedavati and so on. So with that, and how the same Vedavati had incarnated as Padmavati, how Srinivasa Padmavati Kalyanam took place. With that, we had concluded in the last session. Today we continue. Next comes the story of Parikshit. Parikshit, Srimad Bhagavatam. So the story of Parikshit is told in the Skanda Purana also. The sage Suta, he tells a story to all the sages who had assembled there. So Parikshit, he ruled over Hastinapura. Parikshit, he is the grandson of Arjuna. He ruled over Hastinapura, the same kingdom that the Pandavas had ruled over. And once, as you all know, he went to the forest for hunting. That's when he saw a deer. He hunted a deer, but the deer, though it got injured, it disappeared somewhere in the forest. Parikshit started following it. He went about running here and there, and that's where he reached an ashrama of a sage called Shamika. And he goes and asks Shamika whether now the Shamika, the sage, was engrossed in meditation, therefore he could not answer back. So he goes and asks, have you seen this deer and so on, but Shamika does not respond at all. Now there are few other stories also, few other references, like some say that Parikshit was thirsty, so he goes to the sage and asks for some water, but the sage did not respond and that's why he got angry. So like this there are many stories. As per the Skanda Purana, this is a reference of the injured deer that he goes and asks, have you seen the injured deer? But Shamika, he does not respond, and this makes Parikshit very angry, and he took a dead snake and puts it around the sage's neck. But again, the sage did not know anything because he was fully engrossed in meditation. At that time, the sage's son Shringi, he comes there, and when he sees the dead snake around his father's neck, he feels very angry and he curses, saying that whoever has done this, on the seventh day, the Takshaka, Naga Takshaka will come and he will bite the person to death. And later, when the sage got to know that his son had cursed the king and so on, he told his son that you should have not done this in anger and so on. But then now once the curse has been given, it cannot be taken back. And Parikshit also had left from the place. He had put the dead snake and he had gone away. So at that time, the sage Shamika, he sends one of his disciples called Daurmukha. He sends his disciple and tells that you tell Parikshit to come back here so that at least the curse that has been given to him, that can be used in a good manner. So you call him back. So Daurmukha, the disciple, goes and he tells everything to Parikshit. Parikshit becomes very scared. Now Parikshit does not know about the curse, and even the sage's son Shringi, he also was not aware that King Parikshit had done this. Parikshit throws the dead snake and he goes away. So he was not aware of the curse at all. So later when this disciple goes and tells, now he is very afraid. If someone tells on the seventh day a snake is going to come and bite you and you are going to die, obviously anyone would be scared. So now what to do, Parikshit keeps thinking. And at that time he goes back to this sage Shamika. He feels that I will come back and ask the sage only what can be done. So at that time the disciple says that no, the sage has not called you fully to him, though he said that you call him. He knew that even the sage also cannot do anything. So the disciple, what he tells is, he tells him, you take some preventive measures. You see to it that your next 7 days are spent very nicely, so that the outcome of the curse will not be much. So now Parikshit, he lives on the banks of the Ganges, and at that time a Brahmin comes there called Kashyapa. Kashyapa, it's not the sage Kashyapa, it's another Brahmin who comes along the way. His name was Kashyapa. And he came to know about the curse that Parikshit had got, and he knew how to cure people who are bitten by snakes. So this was like a very good fortune, good destiny on Parikshit. And he knew that Parikshit was a king. So this person called Kashyapa, he felt that on the seventh day, when the snake comes and bites this Parikshit, I will cure him, and I will get an excellent reward, maybe in the form of money, wealth, and so on. He is the king, so obviously he will reward me also handsomely. So, and there he goes in where Parikshit was staying. Now, there Kashyapa, this Brahmin, keeps proceeding further. Now, he was a poor person, so basically, like you can consider a small Ayurveda doctor or so. They do some with some small herbs and all. They do some kind of treatments. So such way was that person. And this Kashyapa, he meets another Brahmin on the way. Now, this another Brahmin, he was actually Takshaka, the Naga Takshaka in disguise of a Brahmin, and he was on his way to kill Parikshit as per the curse. So he asked Kashyapa, so that the Takshaka in the form of the Brahmin, he asks this Brahmin Kashyapa, why are you going to meet Parikshit? And now this Kashyapa, he did not know that the Brahmin was actually the snake Takshaka. So he tells that I know how to remove the poison, so from a snake bite, so I am going to do the same. Now this Brahmin, the Takshaka, the snake, it could not believe at first. So what it did is, it put a lot of poison on a nearby tree. There was a huge tree nearby, and it put a lot of poison there. And a man was also sitting on top of the tree, and in no time, the tree as well as the man both died because of the impact of the poison. Now Kashyapa, he saw this, and he really brought both the tree and the man back to life. Now Takshaka was surprised, and he asked Kashyapa, how much, like if you want some reward for this, how much do you expect? Kashyapa revealed some amount, and Takshaka also gave him a lot of wealth. And now this Takshaka, now if Takshaka allows Kashyapa to come along with him, then the curse will go futile, right? So then Takshaka, the snake, he says that I'll only give you this wealth, now you go back. So now ultimately this Brahmin Kashyapa, the poor Brahmin Kashyapa, he just wanted money. So for him it didn't matter whether the king paid or who paid. So he took the money and he goes away. And further the snake Takshaka, he proceeds further to bite Parikshit as per the case, as per the curse that was given. And Takshaka at that time, he calls all his companions, they were all serpents. So he tells all the other snakes also, all of you disguise as sages, as hermits, and you go to meet Parikshit. And you offer him fruits and everything, that is, you keep him engrossed, at the right moment I will come and I will bite him. So this was Takshaka's plan. And as soon as he got a chance, he bit Parikshit. Parikshit immediately died. The next king was made Janamejaya, and so on. And meanwhile, people started cursing. Now later people came to know about the entire story, and they started cursing the poor Brahmin Kashyapa, saying that you did not know that the person who came was actually the snake Takshaka, he fooled you by giving you money and all, and so on. So, and then he later, this person Kashyapa, who had actually come to cure Parikshit, he goes to Venkatachaleshwara, that is the Tirupati temple, and there he becomes free from sin and so on. So now why the story of Parikshit has been included in the Skanda Purana is to signify the importance of the Tirupati temple, not about Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the reason here a lot of focus has been made on the Kashyapa, on this Brahmin called Kashyapa, who was about to cure Parikshit. Because if you see, the last story that we had seen was Srinivasa Padmavati Kalyanam. So a lot of emphasis has been made on the Tirupati Kshetram in the Skanda Purana. So how the Lord of Tirupati, how he cures people, how he makes people free from sins and so on, that is what has been mentioned here, and that is the reason why Parikshit's story has been included in the Skanda Purana. So mainly the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7 days Saptaham, how he listened to the stories of the Lord, all this has not been told much. Mainly it is everything with regards to Lord Venkateshwara, Venkatachaleshwara, Tirupati Balaji has been emphasized in the Skanda Purana. With this story gets over. The next story also talks about Lord Venkateshwara only. So Suta continues, he tells another story. He tells that there was a Brahmin called Ramakrishna in ancient times, and at this Venkatachala mountain, at the Tirupati mountain, he was doing a lot of penance. And like Valmiki, a lot of anthills developed over his body. So such was his penance, a very difficult, tough penance. And Indra, now obviously when someone does penance, Indra gets scared because of the danger to his position. So Indra was scared, and at that time Indra goes, he causes heavy rains, and all the anthills that were there, they were all washed away from the Brahmin Ramakrishna's body, but still he was not disturbed at all. At that time, Lord Srinivasa, he became very pleased with the devotion of this devotee. He comes in front of Ramakrishna and says that this place where you have performed so much of penance will be famous as Krishna Tirtha. Even today, if you go to Tirupati, you can see this place called Krishna Tirtha, and anybody who makes a pilgrimage to this place, he'll be blessed, he'll be liberated, he'll be free from all sins. And now, here Suta chants a few shlokas in praise of Lord Venkateshwara. So the various stotras that we have on Lord Venkateshwara, one of that is from the Skanda Purana. So, and there Suta says that a man who sees the appearance of Lord Srinivasa even for a minute, that is the reason in Tirupati even till date if we go, we cannot see the Lord for long because of the crowd. Hardly for a few seconds. By the time you see Jargandi, they will push you away, right? So, but here Suta says that even for a moment you see, you attain salvation. So once you make a trip to Tirupati, you see the Lord for a minute, you attain moksha. That's it. So here now, that is when some devotees have a doubt, saying that all this way I come so much, I have to put in efforts, I have to climb so much of crowd, everything is there. Hardly for a few seconds I can see the Lord. So therein Lord Venkatachala, he assures, saying that you don't see me, I am always seeing you. So I don't have any crowd to come and see you all devotees. I am standing at the same place and I am at the top of the mountain. So therefore all of you are coming from down. So right from the time you are coming, I can see all of you clearly. So you don't have to worry. Even if you can see me for a few seconds, I can see you all through your journey and all my blessings are on you. So this is what the Lord says here. Suta gives reference to this. Further now, there are other places of pilgrimage in the nearby areas of this Venkatachala mountain, that is in the Tirupati place. So all that reference Suta gives, like for example Swami Pushkarini, this comes in the Suprabhatam. So Pushkarini, it's like a water body. Papa Vinashana, Pandu Tirtha, Kumaradharika Tirtha, Tumbu Tirtha, Akash Ganga. So all such places, if you go to Tirupati, you can witness. I think all of you would have gone to Tirupati, right? Anyone who has not gone? You've not gone? Okay. So those who have, mostly everyone should have made a trip. So you see there are a lot of water bodies all along, and that's where people usually take a bath and so on. And mainly some places where you don't take a bath, that water is used for doing abhisheka to the Lord. So every day you have the Brahmotsavam, Kalyanotsavam and so on. So water for all those worship, all that worship comes from all these different tirthas. Further, once, even if you know Lord Hanuman's mother, Anjana Devi, she also has done tapasya in this, in the Venkatachala mountain, in the Akash Ganga Tirtha. So that's where Vayudeva, he comes there, he tells Anjana that I myself will take birth as your son. And Anjana, she, after being married for a long time, no child could be born to her. At that time, sage Matanga, he asks her to go to Akash Ganga Tirtha, where it is believed that all your wishes will be fulfilled. And at that time, sage Matanga, if you see Matanga Muni, anyone knows who's Matanga Muni? Have you heard this name somewhere?
Yes, Lakshmiji. Matanga Muni.
Where you heard? Shabari is Guru. Shabari from the Ramayana reference. Shabari is Guru. Yes. So now if you see Matanga Munivara Vandita Tirtha, you have this song, right? In those who know Carnatic music, you have which is that Kirtana? Shambho Shiva Shambho. Correct. In that also you have reference to this Matanga. Of course, that has not got to do anything with this story, but then there also you have this reference of this Matanga. So Matanga, now why Matanga Rishi is mentioned, not any other Rishi? If you know, Shabari was in Pampatira. Pampatira is again in Karnataka. That's where Rama and Lakshmana go and meet them. Venkatachala also, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, nearby areas, right? Telangana, nowadays you have a new state, Telangana. So it is in the same area, same nearby states, neighboring states that are there. And that is the reason why Matanga Muni, he says that, he tells Anjana Devi, you go and worship Vayu Bhagavan there. And he also tells her the exact geographical location. He tells that at a distance of 10 yojanas towards south, there is a mountain called the Dhanachala mountain. That is the abode of Lord Narasimha. There is a Brahma Tirtha near it. Then from there, at a distance of 10 yojanas south of Brahmatirtha, there is a river that flows called Suvarna Mukhari, and Venkatachala mountain is situated to the north of this river, and here you have the holiest place called Swami Pushkarani. There are now, we know, 7 peaks, Olmala we say, 7 mountains that are there in Tirupati. Swami Pushkarani is there, and that in this place, in Swami Pushkarani, you should visit this place, take a dip in the holy water, and then you should seek the blessings of Lord Varaha Swami. You have a Sannidhi for Lord Varaha, Lord Venkateshwara. Then you should go north towards the Swami Tirtha, north of Swami Tirtha, and that's where you reach Akash Ganga. Now those who are got a lot of confused, a lot of confusion is there, you listen to the audio again, you know the exact geographical location. Why I told you this is, when we say that something would have not happened at all, or something is untrue, maybe fiction or false, if that would have been the case, so much of exact geographical location sage Matanga would have never told Anjana, and that would have never been mentioned in the Puranas also. So it cannot be mere imagination. These are all proofs for that, because the exact geographical location has been told, and there are people who follow the same geographical location that is there today. Of course, in today's times now you have a lot of development that is done. Maybe you have the facilities are improved and so on. So maybe we are not, or most of the times, though everything is there in the same place, we don't visit the place frequently, we don't know the names of places, so it will be a mistake even from our side. But all these things have been mentioned very very clearly in the Skanda Purana. Therefore, we cannot jump to a conclusion at all that some story, every Puranic stories. When you listen to this word Puranic, that itself feels maybe it is fiction. It is not at all fiction that is there. Some things it is difficult for us to believe in, and that too the reason is because we don't see that easily around us today. So that is the reason it becomes difficult to believe. But surely it doesn't mean that something is pure fiction. I'm not saying that just because something is mentioned in the Puranas, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, we should believe. It is not like that. You need not believe, but at the same time we should not say that such a thing does not exist at all of us don't do that, but there are people, or there will even be people, especially when we tell them that I'm maybe learning the Puranas, Ramayana and so on, there will be people who will come and mock us, or we ourselves might have this question in our minds, or our children, they will come and ask us saying that why, what you're reading all this, 1000 years back someone has told something, they've written somewhere something, you're wasting your time, you don't have anything to do, right? So at that time we should it's not just to answer someone, as I always say, but in our minds also answers should be very very clear. Only when we have clear answers we'll have 100% interest. So merely calling something as fiction, you don't believe in things, that's okay. Someone will say, no, I want proper research, I want proper proofs and evidences, only then I will believe, that is fine, you don't believe. But then most of us, we have this habit, no, something is not there, so such a thing does not exist. Without reading something we should never tell. So now you have a proof. So this itself, through this incident in the Skanda Purana, it proves that the birth of Hanuman is true, right? If Anjana Devi has done some tapasya there, that means surely Hanuman has been born, because Vayu Bhagavan comes there and tells Anjana Devi. Sage Matanga tells Anjana that you go to this place and do tapasya. This place, the Tirupati temple is very much there today. You have the mountains, you have the tirthas, Swami Pushkarani Tirtha and so on. Akash Ganga where she did penance. So ultimately the birth of Hanuman should also be true then. And we believe that Hanuman also, if you see, is born in Hampi, some people say. Some people believe it's in North India. North Indians believe he's born in some place in North India. South Indians believe usually it's in Hampi area. So in Karnataka, that area is mainly where Hanuman is born. The reason being Anjana does tapasya there. So mainly Anjana Devi, if you see, Anjana, Sugriva, they all live in the Karnataka part. That's where you have the Rishyamukha Parvata. Rama comes and meets Sugriva. So mainly that's where they belong to. But North Indians, when they start worshipping Hanuman, they believe that the birthplace of Hanuman will be somewhere in north. So now for this you have to go through a lot of references, research and everything. So let's not get into the argument. Hanuman was born somewhere. That is one conclusion. But yes, depending on the, like for example, even with Shankaracharya, some people say that he attained Samadhi in Kedarnath. South Indians say that no, he attained Samadhi in Kanchipuram. We don't know what is true. Nobody was there when Shankaracharya was there. Ultimately, Shankaracharya attained Samadhi in a religious place, be it Kedarnath or be it Kanchipuram, right? So instead of getting into such arguments, no, you tell me whether he got Samadhi in Kedarnath or Kanchipuram. You can go to both the places are sacred, right? Of course, for our own answer we can find out, Most of the references say it is Kedarnath because we have still a Shankaracharya temple there in Jammu. Yes, the Anjaneyadri hill, that is there, correct. But some say that no, it is in Kanchipuram. People who belong to the, who follow the Kanchi tradition much, they will say that no, Shankaracharya came to Kanchipuram when he established a matha there. That's when ultimately he attained samadhi also here only. So this is a belief that is there. But then most of the proofs say that it's in Kedarnath because you have a temple also there and so on. So like this, there can be some conflicting beliefs, but surely it doesn't mean that we should not believe or things are only false. So that's the point that I'm saying. We might have conflicts. Two things are being told, 2 points have been put, debates can take place, but that surely doesn't mean that things are false. In the course of time, now whatever happened maybe 1 week back, by today things would have changed completely, right? You have two opinions on that. One party speaks something, the opposite party will speak another. Even amongst us also, at an individual level also, yesterday what we think about so and so thing, and today what we think about the same thing will be different. Yesterday we buy something, and give you a simple example, we buy something from the market. When we buy, say for example, we buy a cloth or so, you buy a new dress for yourself, the day you buy it you like it very much, you're all around, you praise this, that, everywhere you praise about it. You show it to everyone, you wear it, immediately you wear it, for 2-3 days you are very happy. The second time, the next time when you wear, you see that when you wash the cloth, maybe color goes off or you lose the design, something like that. At that time you keep names, right? It's just 2 days that we bought the dress, but immediately some argument comes. No, 2 days before I like, today the same dress I'm disliking. So you see, there is opinion that gets deferred even at an individual level. So in the course of time, you imagine opinions that get deferred for topics like this, like Shankaracharya Samadhi, or maybe just falsely claiming that no, some details would have been mentioned, but this is not the proof that it will be true, and so on. So when at an individual level, at a personal level, we ourselves change our opinions very frequently, that too not in years or so. What I told in the morning, by night that would have changed, right? Now it happens with most of us, we keep changing our minds, but within a few minutes also sometimes our mind changes, right? We decide, no, today I'm going to do this, after 5 minutes no, I'm not going to do this, I don't feel like doing it, I'll do something else, right? So what to talk about things like this, whether you attend Samadhi in Kedarnath or Kanchipuram, or things like this wherein sage Matanga gives the exact geographical location to Anjana Devi, then putting claims that no, this is not true, or maybe the birthplace of Hanuman, though evidences go mostly that it's in the southern part only, but still there are beliefs that it happens in the northern part also. So then what should we follow, what should we go with? Mainly whichever has got, because none of us we have not seen with our naked eyes, so you can surely go with the references which are most common. But the point why I'm trying to tell is, in the Puranic stories, you might have a lot of conflicts and debates like this. You might have confusion, what should I believe, what should I not believe. But it is very, very wrong to say that no, such things do not happen at all, or it will be merely false and so on. If something was mere false, till date we'll not have the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas and so on. Things come and go. There are so many other things. What we speak in the morning, we don't remember by night. Why so? The importance of that thing was only that much, that it lost its importance within a few hours. But when we have such epics, itihasas, Puranas, or whatever we have today, if we are speaking about that, or even great people, you have freedom fighters or maybe scholars also, if we take their names till date, that means surely that person would have done some great contribution. Similarly, be it for our scriptures, texts and so on. It's not that purposely we should tell someone that no, it's like you must not feel that I am trying to impose it. No, Ramayana is true, Mahabharata is true, Purana is true, all of you must study. It's not like that. But when the question comes that should we believe or not believe, and we have so much of tarkam is, you keep questioning about things. If you have to question, lifelong we'll be just questioning without finding the answers. And usually you will find that people who keep questioning, they're never interested in getting the answers. They don't know anything. Just as Krishna says, pariprashnena sevaya. Asking questions is not wrong, but without knowing anything, simply just questioning is surely wrong. So that should never be done. You know maybe 5 things about something, you want to know more, then you ask something, that is fine. Without knowing anything, not even heard about it, just to question the opposite person and test the knowledge of the opposite person, if you keep on asking something, that is surely wrong. So all of us also, we must keep our minds very, very open, and whenever some doubt comes in, if such things are true, if our scriptures are true, or it is some fiction also, very simple explanation, or you can say very convincing statement would be something for yugas and for years together. If till date, if we are hearing about something, surely that will have some importance. You believe or you don't believe, that's your personal choice. Everyone can decide at your personal level, but keeping names without knowing something, that is very, very wrong. We must know that it is important because it has reached till date. There are many other things that we don't even know. Even if someone writes a text also, how it vanishes in the course of time, we don't know. But if something has reached us till date for centuries together, and it might reach even the future generations also, that itself shows the importance of the texts. Okay, so now coming back to the story. So here Sage Matanga says that you do this tapasya here, and as per Matanga's instructions, Anjana, she went to Akash Ganga, she does her penance. Finally, Lord Vayu, he appears and he promises that I will incarnate as Lord Hanuman. So the birth, just not the exact story of birth, just the instance of how the birth of Hanuman took place, that has been highlighted in the Skanda Purana. Further, the sages, they ask Suta, you tell us about the Purushottama Kshetra, where you have the wooden idol of Lord Vishnu. What is this Purushottama Kshetra? Anyone knows? Purushottama Kshetra. Puri. Jagannath Puri. Purushottama Kshetra is nothing but Jagannath Puri. Where, how you get this hint if you have not heard about Purushottama Kshetra, where we have the wooden idol of Lord Vishnu. So if you say every, I think 18 years, right? That's when the Lord is carved out of wood that is there. Purushottama Kshetra is, that's the reason it is called Jagannath Puri. Today we know it is popular for Jagannath Puri, but Purushottama, Purushanam Uttamaha Kshetra, meaning the Lord Krishna, who is Purushottama, or Vishnu, you can consider the great among gods. For him, the Kshetra, the place, that is Jagannath Puri. Today it has become famous as Jagannath Puri. Originally the place was Purushottama Kshetra. This is a reference that you have in the Skanda Purana. And here you have a wooden idol of Lord Vishnu. And at that time, Sage Jaimini, he replies, now the sages ask Sage Jaimini, and Jaimini, he says that this place is graced by the presence of Lord Jagannatha. He is very much present in this place. And how the story goes about is, Lord Varaha, during Varaha Avatara, he had rescued Prithvi from Hiranyaksha. And after Prithvi, she came back from Rasatala. So basically, the demon Hiranyaksha had kept the goddess Earth in the Patala, in the hell regions. That's after he brings her back, Lord Brahma started with his process of creation. And at that time, Lord Brahma, he gets a question. It seems that now when creation starts, there's going to be Sukha Dukkha, that is happiness and sorrow both. Now there are three different types of sorrows, it seems. Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika is spiritual sorrow. Now what is spiritual sorrow? You put in a lot of efforts to study something, or maybe you put in a lot of efforts to chant the names of the Lord, do puja, worship, maybe meditation, or any spiritual activities, but still if you cannot achieve that in spite of efforts, we feel sad. Adhyatmika. Adi Daivika. Adi Daivika, Daivika meaning gods. Sometimes, especially if in the family, if continuous problems also appear, you go and consult a priest, astrologer, or so on. They might tell us, right? No, maybe the family deity is not happy. You must go and visit your Kulakshetra, Kula Devata, and so on. Such things might be true. And then some pujas and other things are done in the family village, also in the family deity. So this is Adi Daivika, so mainly the anger or wrath of the gods. Next, the third type of dukkha is Adi Bhautika. Bhautika or Adi Bhantika, both you can say, related to the world. That is our everyday sorrows. In our everyday life we go about, right? Someone tells us something, we feel bad, or it can be even on a higher level. So like this, there are different three types of dukkha. So Lord Brahma keeps wondering that how will people be free from this three types of dukkha that is there, and that's when he goes and takes the help of Lord Vishnu. And when he goes and he speaks to Lord Vishnu, that's where he composes a stotra on Jagannatha, that is in the Purushottama Kshetra, that is the Jagannath Puri Kshetra. And that's where Lord Vishnu tells that you go to this place. So, lot of stotras that we have in praise of Jagannatha, some references in the Skanda Purana. So Lord Vishnu, he tells that Purushottama Kshetra, this place is near the seashore to the south of the river Mahanadi. Mahanadi, it's there even in today's Odisha state. And this place will not get affected by any kinds of calamities. I live in this place, the Lord says, as Lord Purushottama. There is also a holy pond nearby. It's called as Rohin. That is the name of the pond. And anybody who takes a dip in this pond, they will be free from all sins. So you also visit a place, visit this place. And then it seems that if you visit Purushottama Kshetra, you spend a day there, whatever virtues you would have got till date, all that will be doubled, it seems. So maybe now for 50 years is your lifespan, 50 years whatever good things you do, and one day you visit Jagannath Puri Kshetra, this 50 years of good merits, all that will be equal to one day visiting the Purushottama Kshetra, or rather it will be more. So just spending one day in Jagannath Puri is equal to all the merits that we have done till date, or even more than that. So this is how even Lord Brahma also is said to have visited this Jagannath Puri Kshetra as per the instructions of Lord Vishnu. Next is Lord Brahma, he reaches this place and he starts meditating, and now while he was doing so, Lord Yama, that is the god of death, he found that people living in Purushottama Kshetra, that is people living in Puri, they were not affected by death at all. They were fully engrossed in bhakti, devotion of the Lord, and they were not facing death. That is, nobody used to fall ill, there used to be no old age, nothing. So if nothing happens, how will a person die, right? So worried, he goes and again he takes the help of Lord Vishnu. He says, see this, the rules of creation are being disturbed. Someone has taken birth, he has to die. Now you have only made this rule, now you are only causing problems. Nobody in your Purushottama Kshetram is getting old, is facing any kind of diseases, facing any kind of problems. So I cannot go and make someone die, right? Only if there is some maybe old age or some heart attack, even if it is a sudden death, there has to be some reason. But in this Jagannath Puri Kshetra, in all the devotees who come here, I don't find any flaws that I am not able to snatch away their lives. And Lord Yama says that this is the rule, you have given me this assignment that I have to take the lives of people. This is not being fulfilled. If this happens, the world is going to be in ruins. Creation will go on and on and on and on. There will be no place to breathe. So Lord Vishnu, he tells wait, cool down. So like this, Yama starts speaking. He keeps on speaking, and this reference is there in the Skanda Purana. It seems that he keeps on speaking, and finally Lord Vishnu tells, cool down. Then he looks at the goddess Mahalakshmi, who's sitting near him, and he tells her that you say something or you do something. So at that time, goddess Lakshmi, she says that anyone who lives in this place, he is free from cycle of birth and death. So that's the reason why you are experiencing this problem. And the whole world except this place will be under your control. But the person who comes to this place, they will be free from the cycle of birth and death. That is, next birth will not be there at all. Yamaraja, he feels surprised. He tells that why only to this place, why such a privilege is being given? What is so special about this place? You please tell me. Goddess replies that now goddess here, she uses two names for the Lord of Death, Ravi Nandana, Surya Nandana. Yama is the son of Lord Surya, Ravi another word for Surya, and even sun is another word for Lord. Surya and Ravi. So these two words are used by the Lord. And at that time she calls out, oh Ravi Nandana, listen to me. At the time of Pralaya, when the whole world was underwater, at that time sage Markandeya, he was struggling to find a place for his survival. And Markandeya, if you know, as per the story, he was blessed with a long life of 7 kalpas. So for 7 kalpas, he will not face death. But still he needed a place to live. So though he did not face death, though he did not die during the Pralaya Kala, as per the blessing that was given to him, but still everything was floating, right? If everything is underwater, he was also drowning in that. So he started swimming, and finally he managed to reach this place, Purushottama Kshetra, and which was unaffected by Pralaya. And there he saw a divine tree that was called Akshayavata. Markandeya, he continued to swim in the coast. And at that time, he heard a voice from the tree, the Akshayavata that was there. And he says that at that time, the Akshayavata, the tree says, now you can stop swimming, you come out. This place, Purushottama Kshetra will not be submerged in water. You don't have to worry, there is land mass here, so you can make yourself comfortable. Markandeya was very surprised. He looked all around and he kept on swimming, because like even though he was on land, it seems that he kept on swimming, because now if there is a person all around for many years together, if you see only water, suddenly even if you come on land, you will still feel like swimming, right? I'll give you a very simple example. All of us, we have done train journeys, right? If you do an overnight train journey for about 24 hours or so, or maybe more than 15 hours you spend in a train, 1 or 2 days, or at least for a few hours after we come out of the train, still we feel that the train, the shaking sensation, right? We still feel we are in the train, right? Or it can be anything. If continuously, if you are exposed to the same thing, now maybe all of you also, for 2 or 3 hours I just keep telling you about the Puranas, even after 3 hours the lecture gets over, I stop speaking, still you might feel that I am speaking, right? Now maybe in 1 hour you don't feel so, especially at night time it might happen. I don't know whether it happens with all of you. Someone goes to sleep after this class 9 to 10, immediately you close your eyes and go to sleep, you might still feel that I am speaking, right? You might still remember Purushottama Kshetra, Markandeya, swimming, and so on. That is the reason why it is said that before sleeping, children are advised that you should study, or things which we need to by heart, that should be done before we sleep. Why? Because one is in the morning you do when your mind is fresh, that is one thing. Secondly, before going to bed also things have to be done. After this, immediately you should go to bed. Reason being, when we go to bed, we close our eyes and the same thing is there in our mind. We don't think about anything, we are not exposed to other activities, we don't get busy with other things. Therefore, it remains fresh in our mind. So the same thing here also it happens. So Markandeya was so much living around water, he still keeps swimming. And at that time, he saw Lord Vishnu. He was in the Yoga Nidra position. And at that time, now all this the goddess is telling Yama. So the goddess says that I was also present there, and at that time Markandeya, he talks about Vishnu. He starts praying it. So also Vishnu Stotram has been composed by Markandeya here. So in the Skanda Purana, if you see, there are many stotras for Lord Vishnu, Jagannatha Stotra, Vishnu Stotra, and so on, which are composed. And at the time, Markandeya, he prays to Lord Vishnu and says that you are only the source of creation and everything. You please pray, remove this pralaya, protect me, I am drowning, and so on. At that time, Lord Vishnu, he opens his eyes and he finds Markandeya who is praying. And Vishnu tells that you do one thing, you raise your head up, you look at the top, and there you see a vata. It's called Kalpa Vata. That's again, vata is a tree, Vata Vriksha we say, people tree. So there you will see a small infant, a small baby who will be sleeping on a leaf of the tree. The infant is none other than Kala, that is the Lord of Death himself. You should enter his body through his opened mouth, and there you should live peacefully. Markandeya, he enters Kala's body as per the instructions given by Lord Vishnu, and there he was amazed to see all the creation that was there. About 14 bhuvanas were there, all the creatures, deities, sages, siddhas. So Markandeya roamed about here and there, and then he came out of the mouth of Kala, and he found Lord Vishnu was still present there with goddess Mahalakshmi, and he prayed to both of them, and Lord Vishnu tells her, what did you see inside, can you tell me? So Markandeya says, I don't know what to tell, that was something beyond imagination. So at that time the Lord says that the place you went inside, that is beyond the limits of creation, and this place is called Purushottama Kshetra. It is my permanent abode, and it seems that the Lord himself says, I do not leave this place even for a moment. That is the reason why Jagannath Puri is one of the Char Dham Yatras, one of the most important pilgrimage sites which a person should visit at least once in a lifetime, minimum. And Markandeya was very much impressed, and he tells Lord Vishnu to allow him to live there. Lord Vishnu says that you can live here, I'll create a place for you also, and that's how you will become a Chiranjeevi. That's the reason why the 8th Chiranjeevi, after the 7 Chiranjeevis, the 8th Chiranjeevi is Markandeya. And then Markandeya, he also, with the help of Vishnu's chakra, he digs up a reservoir that is there. He does a lot of penance to Lord Shiva also, and that's the reason he was blessed with immortality. And this reservoir, which is still there in the Jagannath Puri temple premises, that is called as the Markandeya Kunda. Further, Goddess Mahalakshmi, she continues that this Purushottama Kshetra, it looks like a conch, a shankha in shape, and it has the presence of even Lord Shiva there. Towards the north, there is a temple of Lord Neelakantha. There is also a Shivalinga called the Kapala Mochana temple. And one who makes a pilgrimage to this Kapala Mochana, it's a Shivalinga, he will be liberated from all kinds of sins. There is also a goddess of Vimala Devi. So all such small temple references are also given in the Skanda Purana. Then Purushottama Kshetra is also called as Tirtha Raja. Tirtha Raja, Tirtha pilgrimage, Raja king. So the king of pilgrimage is Purushottama Kshetra. There is also a divine pond, Rohinakunda, as we saw, that is situated nearby. And anybody who takes a dip in this will be free from the cycle of birth and death. And it seems that during the Pralaya Kala, when the water levels increase, at that time in this reservoir the water falls. In this pond that is there, all the water disappears. That's how the Pralaya, or you can say the overflowing of water, does not affect this place at all. The further goddess continues, and she tells that this place is beyond, you can say, beyond imagination. People never experience death. It is protected by all 8 goddesses from all directions. The 8 goddesses are Mangala, Lamba, Kalaratri, Marichika, Vimala, Sarvamangala, Ardhashani, Chandrupa. You can listen to the audio later and note it down. And Lord Rudra also is very much there, because Rudrani, that is Goddess Parvati herself, has manifested herself in these 8 forms, and later Lord Shiva also manifests himself in 8 forms: Kapala Mochana, Kshetrapala, Yameshwara, Markandayeshwara, Ishana, Bilveshwara, Neelakantha, Vateshwara. All these temples, all these sannidhis are present in Purushottama Kshetra. So Goddess Mahalakshmi, she tells Brahma that in the coming Satya Yuga there will be a king named Indradyumna, and he will be a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu will ultimately, he will give him darshana in the form of a wooden structure. So that's how the wooden structure of the Jagannath Puri temple is formed, and Indradyumna was the first person who worships the today's idols that you have of Jagannatha, Balabhadra and Subhadra in Jagannath Puri. And Vishwakarma then will carve 4 idols mainly: Jagannatha, Balabhadra, Subhadra, and also a Sudarshana Chakra. And that will be installed by Lord Brahma himself. So the idols that we see in Jagannath Puri temple are installed by Lord Brahma only. So this is the story of Purushottama Kshetra. Further, there are later people ask the exact location of Purushottama Kshetra, and the sage further continues to explain. So today time is up. We will stop here, because the next topic is quite big. So we'll stop here for today. Tomorrow we will meet as usual at 9 o'clock only. Today I had a class before, so it took some time, something in between. Tomorrow as usual we will meet at 9 o'clock. Today we'll stop here. Namaste, Hari Om.